Hello, good people. Today, we're talking about money management. We're going to come to you in the mornings. Now, y'all know I lost my job yesterday. But the purpose of these videos will help people to get married and encourage them to stay married.
Right.
Sharon and I are not rich by any stretch of the imagination. And rich means that you make at least, by at least several definitions, is that you make at least $100 over the minimum wage. That's how your net aggregate is. So we are not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but we are smart enough to know that you have to have a reserve. So we lived in a time period in our lives where we didn't have a reserve, and we didn't even think having a reserve was as important as it is now.
Right.
But in your life, winters will come. They always follow falls.
Right.
And the winter really is almost like a euphemism for hard times. Mm-hmm. You're going to have hard times in your life.
Right.
So Sharon and I have been married like almost 10 years here, coming up on 10. Good job, bro. So we know that the winter is coming.
Right.
So you got to have some boots. You got to have a coat. You got to have some gloves.
Right.
You need protections. You need protections in place. And so falling on hard times is not necessarily a bad thing, but I've always found in my years of living that they happen. They happen sometimes when you want them to happen, when you don't, when you
they
least
usually
expect
happen when you least expect it.
When you least expect it, because
Right.
if you heard me in my couple of videos, I was like, job. But I know better. They can fire you and it don't have to even be you. You can be the greatest employee of all time.
I don't like the way you look. Let me fire you.
You could be the greatest employee of all time, and they could be like, it was nice to have known you, but we're making some concessions. Right.
Laying people off, whatever.
You need some boots.
Right.
Because winter is coming, and winter is just hard times. And so everybody has this cycle. Mm-hmm. So you have a cycle of where it's hard times, and then you have a cycle of where it's regular, and then you have this prosperity everybody has, and prosperity is given to you equal to what your actions are. So if your prosperity is your income
Seeds
tax,
you sow.
right? Some people's prosperity is their income tax. If that's your prosperity, that's you. You know what I mean? I certainly understand. They're crazy, So, but Sharon and I have made sure that our income tax is not our only prosperous time. Right. We have set ourselves up for the winters of life. Mm-hmm. And so, when I came home yesterday and told her, babe, they fired me. I didn't, because I know my wife very well. I didn't expect her to be like, you stupid. No.
So what you call it, words.
Right. Now, what the job was doing for us is it was giving us, really, we were using the job for health benefits. We wanted people to understand, you know what I mean? But you can buy your own health benefits, baby. You know what I mean? You can buy your own. And that's just the way it is.
Right. It has some nice perks to it.
Right. I was able to take care of my family's cell phone bills.
Right.
Right, because it was one of the perks. But at the end of the day, they was paying their own for a long time before they met me, or before that opportunity came. And so they'll pay their own now. It's the way it is. Right. You know what I mean? Basically, I gave you a discount for however long I gave you a discount. Right. And that's just the way it is. So, readying yourself. Let's talk about how to plan for hard times.
Right.
Because I know, you was telling me, you know what I mean, you have to develop a plan.
Right.
So pretty.
So, me and my husband, thank you. Me and my husband, we both sit down, we discuss the finances. But I typically actually take the action for us to, moving the money, paying the bills, that kind of thing.
She's a smarter one.
No, not trying to
Legit.
Legit. It just happens to fall.
Legit.
The cookies just happen to fall that way, okay? So he does other things that he's good at. Like, he's a great negotiator. So he handles that kind of stuff, and he understands when it's time to buy a house or purchase things or different things like that. He's really good with that concept. Right. So you have to utilize what each spouse is good at.
Very good.
Yes. So I'm in that department. So I manage the bills,
finances.
Yep.
Insurances.
Taxes. which I hate. That's coming up soon.
Right.
And that stuff. So what I try to do is, I heard a good man say, you should pay yourself first.
Yes.
I think that was Robert Kiyosaki, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
You should pay yourself first. So that's what I try to do. I try to, even when it seems impossible, you're like, I only got so much money. I gotta pay these bills. I don't have no money left over. He says, pay yourself first.
Right.
Even before your bills. So
But they gonna cut it off.
So what you do is you put aside a money. So let's say if we say we're gonna do $100 each time for ourselves. That's something we agreed upon. That's not what ours is, but I'm just as an example. So for example, you put $100 up every time you get paid. Then let's say you have $900 to deal with. Okay.
Right.
So you take that money and now you figure out how you're gonna pay your bills. Now, if you're from the part of the hood that I'm from, you understand how to maneuver some things, rearrange. You could call your bill company and have them rearrange your bill date. So you're like, all right, I get paid again at the end of the month. You could call the company and say, can you move my date or can you extend my time to the end of the month? So you can make arrangements. Do what you gotta do because you're more important than the bill company, and the bill company gonna hate me, but that's the truth. They'll be all right. But if something happens, you don't have an emergency fund, you don't have a fund to fund your dream.
Right.
You don't have that for you. You're up the creek. So you need to do that first. And so that's what I would do.
Right.
And when the winter comes around,
how much? 10%. So she's going off $1,000. $1,000. If you make 1,000. And your bills are more than that, stop it. Stop it right now. You have to act your wage because you want to be able to make sure that you're for instance, if you make 1,000 a month, your rent should be 300, which means you're gonna live in the hood, right?
But I lived in the hood for a while.
That's 30%.
So you can get up out of the hood.
Rent should be 3.
Right.
You should be saving 100. I say give God 100. That's 5, and your bills probably should be at least half of that. So 3, with your water bill probably $100.
So what you could do is
if you live on $1,000, oh my goodness.
So what I did was because we was at one point in time just spending a ridiculous amount of money.
Right.
So every 3 months I do this. I go through all the bills. I have him give me all his bills. Like if he had receipts that he paid cash for stuff, give me the receipts. I look at all of our accounts and I sit down and see where are we spending the most money at.
Right.
Where can we cut? If it's utilities, turn these lights out. If you're not in the room, turn the light out.
You better light a candle. I'm cold. Put your hot breath like this.
Right. If everyone's at work, your kids is at school, you can turn down your heat bill.
Right.
It's so much you can do. So you have to just be creative. Figure out a way. Like, where am I spending the most money at and put it out? For us, it was food.
Right.
So I'm like, we
are
now going to be vegetarians.
We fixed that. Britt says, so sorry to hear you were let go. It is not your loss. It is theirs. Britt, I wish you was my boss, boo-boo.
Thank you.
This just means that you are coming to something greater. We do agree.
Yes.
Sharon and I have been booked for a cruise this year, and we have being paid for our speaking engagement. And all expenses paid. God knows we need a vacation, especially after this craziness.
Yes.
So now, we'll release the details to you slowly and surely. We kind of wanted to be a surprise because when we go live, we wanted to be a surprise. So thank you for your kind words. That was very, very nice of you.
Yes, thank you.
But you were saying very eloquently about how to, create a very detailed structure.
So yes, I know that's a lot of people's concerns. They I have my bills up to my neck here, and I could barely pay them. I'm behind on them. Okay, so go through your life, see what's wrong.
Right.
See what's wrong. Maybe you change jobs.
Right.
Your job not paying you enough. I did that. My job wasn't paying me enough.
Or a side hustle.
Change jobs. Or
right.
Because
if the stress of the job is here and the money is here, you must don't know about me. I can have another you in a minute.
Right.
Matter of fact, it'll be here in a minute, baby.
And then I start looking at bad habits.
Right.
I like to eat out a lot. I cut them bad habits.
Right. And she also had to cut these coupons.
Keep on.
We coupon. All
keep
these
on it. If everybody has different habits, whether it be smoking, drinking,
mine's to smoke
partying.
For now. I can't smoke for a little bit. You know what I mean?
So them are the first things you start cutting. Those kind of things.
I smoke cigars. by the way. I used to smoke ganja, but I don't do that anymore. I smoke cigars, and they're the $30 cigars. You know what I mean? So, but they last.
Cut.
Right. And I'm smart enough to know,
Right.
while I was working, it was one of my indulgences. When that go, this got to go. And
But
it's just
even
smart,
if you're
like,
working, if you don't have a fund my dream or emergency fund
right.
with some money put up, you need to cut that until you get
How
your
many
stuff
months,
up.
babe? At least 6 to 8 months. That's what I asked you a question and answered it.
Yeah.
You need 6 to 8
I was
months
gonna say 6. But yeah.
of an emergency fund.
The more you have, the better.
Right.
Because you don't know how long you might be without a job. Now, thank God, I've set aside some emergency money for us.
Right.
And I started on funding our dream, but
Right.
we didn't get to go.
All
You
the
know,
way.
that's what we.
But don't
usually
worry,
save the money
'cause
for. But
it will happen.
Right.
Just like God said. I love that song.
So your emergency money needs to be enough to handle your utilities
Yes.
and pay your rent or your mortgage.
6 to 8 months. So
So you
my
need 6
mortgage
months.
is probably, I think it's over $2,000. So you need 6 to 8 months of your bills. You need 6 to 8 months of your mortgage or your rent, whatever you're at. You need 6 to 8 months
Right.
because you never know what could happen.
Right.
You never know. So and also because I do have a reserve, my wife was able to stay at home. But I was also able to keep my integrity yesterday because, if it was if this was like me losing, like if I was living paycheck to paycheck and this meant, me losing everything, then I probably would have been a lot more angry
Right.
but I wasn't, I was able to keep my integrity.
And
So
then
money
you have
was
to,
is a defense.
Right, and then you have to go find a job immediately. Like you can't even get your emotions together before you
Right.
step into another position. So
Right.
it kind of gives you a little bit of time to
Right.
look for the right job and
The
get
right
your
one.
emotions together.
Right. Now, like even when because first of all, I own a small business, so it's we don't do winter work though. So in the next 2 months, I'll be working that again, getting income
Right.
from that, and so that's a good thing. And secondly, like the reason I got fired and it's somebody else's truth, so I can't tell their truth but I did something nice for somebody, and I would do it again.
Right.
I would do it again in a heartbeat. But I did nice for them. And, the corporate world isn't as forgiving. And so, what was nice or what still is nice and what was good for my spirit and for my integrity in the corporate world, it's not. And I owned a business, so I understood. So it's not like I didn't deserve this. I deserved it. At the same time, it's like, if you were my boss, you probably would have been like, I'm going to wipe your slate clean. But I have a boss who was like, yippity yay, who was she was actually in tears, you know what I mean? Because she felt like after a while, I think it kind of sunk in, like, I didn't realize, like, once you start thinking, like, I just now realized that you're the real leader here. Like, I thought it was me, but it's you're keeping people from quitting. You're talking to people, you're doing stuff that doesn't show up on the stat sheet.
Right.
So she was in, like, tears because she felt like, before I processed this, I'm just now realizing that I'm losing, something good. It's almost like when Pontius Pilate said, I ain't gonna be the one to kill him. Like y'all do whatever y'all want, but I ain't gonna be able to. But then she started, but I said it's okay. I told her, I said I own a small business, and I've had to fire people that I liked before. So this is okay. I don't want you to feel bad. Like,
Right.
and then that made her feel worse. She felt like this nigga is nice. Like, so. It's okay, but only because we've had enough winters in our life going to jail, losing our kid. Like, we've had enough winters where we know you need some protection. You need financial protection.
Right.
And without that financial protection, you can easily lose your integrity.
And some connections.
You do.
Connections
You
help
can lose
too.
your integrity. And I lost
Yeah.
my integrity. Integrity is like hair. It takes a while to grow back. And you can't put a weave on as it relates to integrity. It takes a while. So if you lose your integrity,
No cook weave.
right, you can't do that. It takes a
Right.
long time to come back.
Right.
So now that I have my integrity back, and it took a while for it to come back, doing craziness and just, being wayward, I said, no, I'm not going to lose my integrity. So yes, I took that step to do what I was supposed to do for my spirit. And as a result, the world was like, but they rejected, they rejected Jesus. So not the end, won't be the end.
Right.
Of course it won't be. But we also discussing our plan. my plan is in Lucas Lawns and start preparing earlier than usual for that. Likely we'll get a new truck this year. Yeah, and that'll be on. Developing a plan and a plan of action so that when things like this happen, when you fall on hard times, you don't fall into the abyss, but you fall into until almost like a state of convalescence where it's like, okay, I can heal and I can go forward.
Right.
Having a wife who is as sweet as Sharon, I'm not even being funny, who is as understanding as Sharon, has made this process a bunch easier. Because, like I said yesterday, it's easy to feed you. You know what I mean? It's hard to just sit on my butt, and it's easy to feed somebody like you. This year I lost 100 pounds, Excuse me, babe, my bicep is, And so I'm not a lazy man by any stretch of the imagination. I used to be when my integrity was lost. But I've changed. And so we're getting it in.
Right.
And I let you get the last word. Oh, let Brittany say. She said, see, that goes with what I said. It's their loss. I feel like she could have made an exception. But I do too.
You know how corporate works.
That's how it works.
You a number when you're in corporate.
Right.
And that's why you should have your own.
Right.
Your own business. Even if it's just starting out.
Right.
Have something that is your own.
That's yours.
Because
can't nobody take it from
you are a number when you're in that working field.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't care about you. They don't care about your family.
Right.
And, they don't give you second chances all the time.
Right. And Sharon and I have so much going on. It's not like we don't have things to do. Watch, not just things to do like busy work, but we can improve on these videos. I can show you more of my outside life. Like when I'm not at work, I'm working out hard. I jump rope for 3 hours now.
Right.
3. Not 1, not 2, but 3.
Right.
And I can show you more of that stuff. So you can start seeing like, oh, okay, how are you losing weight? People ask me all the time, and like, how did you lose 100 pounds?
Right.
And it wasn't by magic. It was because now my discipline is stronger than my willpower.
Right.
So I'll work out 3 hours. I'll take about a little hour break. I will jump rope for 3 hours. I'll take like an hour break and fast. I'm fasting for my bishop, Norman L. Wagner, completely fasted. And I'm still working out because my mind is strong. Mm-hmm. And it's the mental that gives you the ideas. My emotions are strong, which is why I was in a room yesterday and they fired me. I can hear the ghetto like coming out of myself, and I told it, you shut your mouth and go through this experience. Because I know, sometimes it's hard to go through the experience because as a man, you'll be embarrassed. But because my emotions were together, I was able to go through the experience, even though I feel like what I did was right, and I would do it again. I feel like what I did was right, but at the same time, the corporate world sees it differently.
Right.
So, because my emotions were together, I was able to go through the experience. And I was able to say thank you. I was able to hug people and say thank you for the opportunity.
Right.
And be out. Because I said yesterday, my God owned the cattle on 1,000 hills. So if he gave me this, which is decent, and I'm very grateful,
right.
He could give me 100 times this if I start working on myself more.
Yep.
But I can't because I'm here all day, every day.
It takes all your time up. That's how I felt when I was at my job. I'm like, this is ridiculous. It takes all your time up. And then you got to hear somebody complain.
Right.
And you got to get these numbers up. Like, what's this thing about numbers? It's like.
Right. It's crazy. So Sharon has created some t-shirts. Her t-shirt's in the washer because she's not like me. And, I wear something 10 days in a row. It's Marriage is Sexy, Love, Sex, and Marriage. And it's Love, Sex, and Marriage here. So we greatly appreciate you watching. We realize this is YouTube. You can be on one of 100 billion videos. And you stop by today. We do not take that for granted. We love you. If we are, thanks, Brittany, for your kind words.
Yes, thank you.
And, of course, Sharon is an affiliate of
Bedroom Candy. And I will put the link below.
In the comment section. Yeah.
Yes. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And she'll put that link in the comment section.
I'll put that in the comment section as well. Thank you.
Yeah, so by default, if we get big, then marriage gets big. I want you guys to tell me what we can do to get better, and we will work on that for you immediately. I don't care. We don't want it to be vitriolic, but we want you to say,
some
hey,
suggestions,
we wish you
any
would
topics,
do this, do that more.
Right, or you want to see us,
yes.
do something.
And please, we don't care. We don't care if if you don't want to be revealed, we would never reveal who you are. There are stories that we've told and people will never know unless you tell. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Unless you tell, we know better. So let us know how we can do better. If it's something crazy, put it in our inbox. We'll read it. All right. Until next time, we do love you. God bless you. Mwah.